it's time now for our news review. We'll quickly introduce our guests and then get into that story taking place in Accra right now. For those joining us for our conversation this morning, we have Awal Mohammed, he's with the MPP Communications Directorate, and Raymond Edem Tamaklo, he's with the NDC Communications team. However, there's a major decongestion by the AMA to begin today in a bid to enforce the AMA Hawkers bylaw and road traffic regulations prohibiting activities that impede pedestrian and vehicular movement in public areas. Well, our cameras are there live to capture the scenes and bring you all the details of this exercise. Our man on the beat, James Aveji, is right there. James, good morning. What can you report from where you are?
Ben, for our viewers both on Joy News and Joy Prime, the decongestion exercise has begun in earnest this morning, some few minutes ago. I will tell you what we've been capturing here in the past 15 to 20 minutes, but if you see there, you see the AMA officials trying to give some education to the traders here. It is more or less like an educational or public awareness drive than what we anticipated to be a bit more combative approach to the decongestion. So the whole exercise started from the Tudu Market area right opposite the AMA office. And we are currently at the Rollins Park here in Accra, moving towards the Timber Market area. It will be surprising to know that the entire stretch of the street has been swept clean. There are no traders with their wares on the grounds on the roads as we used to know. On a normal day, when you come to the Rollins Park area here towards the Timber Market, the entire stretch of the road, both the right and the left shoulders of the road, even to almost the middle of the road, would be encroached by traders with different wares ranging from clothing to foodstuff to cosmetic and anything you can think of. They are serving breakfast, lunch, and dinner all on the road. But as at this morning, the warning from the AMA in the last few days, especially from yesterday, that the exercise would happen this morning, has gotten to the grounds. The traders have swept the street clean of their wares. There's nothing on the street. What is happening at some point is some traders receiving their goods with cars, and those cars have been parked on the shoulders of the road. Those are the ones that the AMA official special task force are getting the traders to take off the road. You see the leader of the AMA task force sometimes approach the traders and advise them to take their goods off the street. And those instructions they have been complying with. Let me take you to the other side of the road now, where the task force are engaging someone who has already laid their goods on the street, shoes and sandals, ladies and men's wear. What you see there, they are currently helping the traders to pack the goods into the sacks so that they take them off the shoulders of the road. And so what we have observed so far indicates that a good number of the traders have moved their wares off the road, but quite some few numbers still have their shoes, their clothing, and their trading materials on sacks on the road. And so those ones, they are helping them to pack off the road. And so, Ben and listeners on Joy Prime, generally, there have been some level of compliance here at Tudu to Mokola to Rollins Park, all the way towards the Timber Market of the Central Business District here in Accra. You see some of the traders packing their things. Let me attempt to speak to some of them to know why they still have their things on the road as at this morning. Mommy, is it that you didn't hear of the instructions? She doesn't want to speak to us on record. But speak to me. Some people have packed their things. Why are your things still here this morning?
Me pamocho so mo si yam ebetuma ba eche kakra be sedwa me yanko lolo kwan no so ne bre eche kakra inta me yetumi sedwa no nti sisi aso mo se yanse ni na mfi yanko nti eguso
You didn't know that this place is also part of the place?
eni mi say ha kan ho
Why are you packing to now?
sisi o mo se ha kan ho nti ebetumi asese akwa akire nti e kosto edekogu watchman na yakofie.
So you are closing for them?
Say almost me and Shedwan say about consi any baby I could into a movie and Cassie bet my shit, so more Cassie to be Shedwan. Fine.
Will you come back later?
Yes, madam, your best, but say here and I went to your best, but baby I could use.
If you come back, they will come and sack you again.
Oh, what's I come out? More so I Yakopatch on with you to me, but I have a back.
Thank you. What are you selling?
In Power Slippers.
And so that's a trader there. My attempt to understand the tree means that she said they've been told to leave the main road, and that's why some of them have decided to put their wares here on the shoulder of the road. But the new instructions to them from the task force now is that even the pavement, the walkway, need to be cleared of every goods. And so she's packing her things back and close for the day. They will go and plead with the task force to know if they'll be allowed back to the place. If they allow them back, they will come back. They will keep coming until they finally settles back again as business as usual. And so that's the situation. Some instructions going to other traders there who are now being instructed to pack their things back again.
Relax. How can you do this? You talk yourself. Is it fair? Is it fair? I can't hear you.
don't want to challenge you, but they will pick it up.
I'm giving you 3 hours to pick this from here. Thank you very much.
Uncle, what's the issue? What's the discussion with them about?
Oh, they are talking about where we have placed our tables. That's what they are trying to tell me.
Did you get the instruction or the information earlier to pack your things from this place?
Well, they are now coming. Different instructions. This will come, do this. This will come, do this. So there's no any one way. You see?
What were the earlier instructions?
Oh, the instructions was made about 10 days ago.
That you should do what?
We should not come to the road. No, I believe you are not the road. We are not in the road. We are the side. But, if power in your hands, you do it the way you want.
You feel they are treating you unfairly?
Well, I won't talk so much. Thank you.
You believe they are treating you unfairly?
Oh, no, I will not say anything.
But you will pack the structures from
So, but this, we'll do that. Thank you.
What's your name, sir?
Evans is my name.
Thank you. And so that's one trader there, also been instructed to pack his things. He said there's been varied instructions to them. Earlier, they should leave the main road, and now the instructions have been reviewed that they should leave even the pavement or the shoulder of the road. And you see the woman here also trying to pack her things. I'm sure she had also set up to trade before this new instruction. Mommy, you are packing the things. Why are you packing?
Pacho, bro, Pacho, wait a minute to me. I buy or see and quiet. I want you or see and quiet. Now be behind your fine, said the bear, see who but toy. No chroma, the whole camera. Any problem.
So where will you pack to? I see the last end is the shop here. Why are you packing?
Why you be store on fridge or about baby or the fridge in the baby. Intimate cobium. Maybe I met me a shy.
Which means you are not packing any further apart from this place?
Yes.
So you stay this place?
Yes. Say yeah. Say okay.
They come back, would you have to close entirely?
Dabi. No.
If they insist, what happens?
Eh?
If they insist that I should park, what happens?
Oh, say oba no see em park here, ebe tumi a park. So na oba ka say em park. But say oba no ka kire say baby aye wo no is okay. Ye ntena ho a. Say me try dia oba mama park. Matias.
Ye mbu mra no so ye be make sure say ye mba baby o se member. But to stores for now, omu yi omu niam free store mbesi we no so. Omu so hwe say omu be ye den. Omu so be kakra say na be ye nso be nye baby a hye. Ye obi na be nye sika kwaji store. Ye ni sika de be store. Ha ya na ye te. Nti yesu ye be di mra no so say na ye be ya ye betimi atena pepepe. Na mi hira mu nyina.
And so I just want to find out, do you pay taxes or toll to the assembly?
We are paying 30. Yes, lances. We are paying lances. We are paying 30, yes.
The license, how much do you pay?
50 cedis.
A day or a month or a week?
No, every year, but 30 every day, 2 cedis we pay.
To the AMA?
So 5 cedis for Gata. No?
Every day?
No, every month. Yes, that one every month.
And so today, with what is happening today, will you pay the toll?
Yes, I can pay because with the main catch me pay. What they call way? Me pay how be
Talk to me.
Yes, you bet yes and say ye shen chen ya den ya ye tikata nchen nti ye den ya omo ba ye betua and one ye this yes ye krom ti ye betua yes.
Thank you. What's your name?
My name is Fatima, the whole Zongole. Fatima 1, no size.
Auntie Fatima, thank you. And so, just briefly, they are saying that they are also one of the traders, one of those traders who have decided to set their wares just at the edge of the road here. But the instruction now is that they need to move from this particular, cover on the gutter further backwards before they can trade. They say they pay toll to the assembly and they are not perturbed at all. They will still pay the tolls today because they know that no matter what it is, they will still come back to continue their trade. And so the general feeling is that they would observe the instructions as it lasts for today and the number of days it will continue to last. But they are sure they will still continue to trade on the side of the road as far as the coming days are concerned. And so that is the situation here at Mokola towards the timber market. And so, Benjamin, if you can hear me, that is generally the situation as we are experiencing here in the Central Business District. It promises to be a long day. The question now remains, how would the task force or the AMA ensure the continuous observance of this instruction? The indication we are getting from the traders is that as far as the task force is here, they would obey the instructions, but some insist they will come back to continue their trade. And so it's now left with the AMA task force to put in measures to make sure that what we are seeing today, where two cars can actually pass side by side on this road, which does not happen on a normal day, will continue to exist to ease traffic in the Central Business District. That is the situation here at the CBD here in Accra, Benjamin, and our viewers on Joy Prime.
Is our very own James Aveji on the beat there, circumventing his key, handicap, but doing amazingly well, bringing us that brilliant report. He's always fantastic on the ground. And James, we salute you for bringing us the scoop this early in the morning. Let's come in the studio. Sweetie Abochi is anchoring from my left, but our guests are still here, Awal and Raymond. I know you'll be sharing your thoughts with us, but any thoughts on that decongestion exercise. It's not the first time this is happening, gentlemen. Not the first time. We've seen this before. And it's an important point he makes, that for the first time, you can see two cars go side by side in this enclave where usually a sea of human bodies and all of that. Yes. Two things. The woman who says, oh, yeah, and the man who also feels, but they are being a bit unfair to us. I was just thinking about those. Quick reflections, and Sweetie will take it from there.
Okay, thank you so much. Good morning to our cherished viewers, and thank you so much for the opportunity. I think, as you said, this is not the first time. I remember in 2009 when Oko van der Poel came and said he wanted to make Accra the cleanest city. At a point in time when he started doing this, there were publications that the president had called him to tell him to stop, when President Mills himself came back to say that he didn't ask him to stop. But at a point in time, he had to stop. Then our own regional minister came and started.
Former Greater Accra region.
Former Greater Accra regional minister.
Former MP for this constituency.
For this constituency. He came, he was doing it together with the police. Initially, driving from Adabraka to Kokobot can take you like 30 minutes. Then it's a journey of like 2 minutes, but it can take you 30 minutes because of the congestion of the area. But unfortunately, when he started it, alongside with the police, you can drive within 2 minutes and get there and so on. At a point in time, when he stopped, the AMA brought in their task force, and they couldn't sustain it. So that is the problem I see with this one.
In fact, if you go to Agbubulushi now, the scrap dealers and the rest, those
some are back.
They are back.
Yes, yes, yes. So what I'm saying is that if the regional minister had done this, and we're supposed to see the AMA, the assemblies also trying to complement what he has been able to do, that will help us a lot.
Right.
This one, the problem I see with it is that they are doing it with only the task force. The task force have been with them for some time. You heard her saying, Abaye, so how sustainable is this? That's very important. But I think that the AMA can still do it with the police rather than the task force. They can do it with the task force, but alongside police, so that at least we can get them to clear them on the way. But do we have a place for them to also go? That's also another question.
Adam.
Yes, and so good morning to you and to our cherished viewers and listeners. Now, I understand that there is a need for our people to want to engage in commercial activities, but that need must also go in balance with the need to maintain public order and safety. And so even though they are engaging in commercial and business activities to keep soul and body together, it cannot come at the expense of posing security threats or safety, challenges to pedestrians and people who use the road. And so you cannot come out of that need to sell by the road or on the road or in the pedestrian walkway. And so I am thinking that...
But like Awal made the point, it's genuine. They have business interests, but people must also be able to walk freely. How do you balance that? Where do they go? That's another question.
Yeah, so the people who are clothed with the authority to make sure that there is a certain discipline along the stretches, along the routes, must come up with ways to ensure that there is a designated areas for such persons who have the need to engage in commercial activities. Right. And the people who are supposed to use the roads, the people who are supposed to use the walkways are also allowed to do that without any concern for their safety or whatever concern there may be. Now, with the issue that has to do with sustainability, again, the point must be made that once you have the authority, once you are clothed with the authority to ensure there's a certain safety, there's a certain discipline along the walkways or the roads, those authorities must make sure that it continues on that tangent. Right. So we cannot have a situation where this is a 9-day wonder. We clear the people, the next week and they are back. And so the AMA, whatever collaboration they need, the market leaders, the transport union leaders and all of those people, they must come together to ensure that this is sustained.
Right. Sweetie, there's a message that comes through from Dionuzem Labi. He says, good morning. If only this will not be politicized later, we need area markets to be active. Do you remember, every community having its... He's proposing that as a solution.
or physical barriers that actually prevent these traders from encroaching the streets. You could put rails close to the stalls so that the space it makes it impossible for them to actually
at whose cost? The
come
state,
there.
the ordinary taxpayer.
I mean, yes, if it brings some permanency to it. I mean, I've been following the stories from last week about ridding our streets of these foreign beggars, and now this. I'm excited, right? But I also get the concern you're raising about being a 90-day wonder. I think let's give them some grace and see what they do. Yeah,
let's see
what they do with that.
Second here, down
right.
Initially, after they finished, you had a lot of traders down there when they started with this marbles and so on. Now you don't find anyone there because they cannot trade over.
But I think those rocks, even that they put there, they take away from the beauty of having to put those rocks in there because you don't want them to. How has Rwanda done it? How has Kenya done it? How have these countries done it without having to go through all of this? Maybe it's something we could learn.
You see, we as a people, we are a different breed. Ghanaians are very unique people, right?
I don't believe so. If you put in place certain measures, no matter what.
Earlier, before we even started, there was a news report by Sarah Mensah, one of the women who she interviewed. She said that today she will not show up. But, 2 days or so later, she will show up because she can't run. So she's only not showing up because
across the continent of Africa, they are the same.
No, but that's...
You go to Kenya, people are the same mindset.
No, I'm not saying that we are different from them, Ben. I'm saying let's look at what we do here that will work for us as a people. You know what I'm saying? Kenyans did what will work for Kenyans. Tanzanians and all the other African countries did what works for them as a country and a people. We are a stubborn bunch. And I mean, the majority of our economy, those who, medium and small enterprises, these informal sector traders and all that. And if you don't provide a place for them, they will keep pouring out on our streets. But let's move on. Let's manage the time here. I have the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Luckily, I've had some time to go through, so I know exactly the stories. Oh, well, I'm told the AMA boss is actually speaking. Let's take you live back there, and then we'll come back to the studio.
NDC president. Me. NDC no Jimmy. She be an infita PPP, MPP. What you mayor komipe. Only into machine legacy ake. I'm the youngest mayor ni wowo. Oh yeah, we also. Wo mini wo wa mini ma chuni chumo. Wo mini wo wa mini ma chuni chumo. She blackmail me ke party e.
We get into the Ghanaian Times newspaper now, and the stories on the front page: 4 die, 3,000 houses affected, cars swept away, flood hits Accra again. Help Agnes Owusu to undergo brain tumor surgery. CD now standout performer among global currencies, according to the finance minister. And 200 education support personnel exit every month without replacement, according to TEU. There are 4 major stories that I want to do here. First, I think the coalition against Galamsey saying they're disappointed that there's not been any prosecution of Akunta mining. So the Ghana coalition against Galamsey says it is disappointed and shocked by the government's failure to enforce Ghana's laws against the criminal conduct of Akunta mining. And the coalition recalls the government's unmistakable promises to fight the menace of Galamsey and restore the balance of Ghana's ecology. And it said, this is the end, that the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources had, through their own investigations, published a documentary on the illegal activities of Akunta mining and the extent of devastation caused by their irresponsible and unlawful activities, which is why they're disappointed that as we speak, there's been no prosecution. The second story I want to get into is CD now standout performer among global currencies, according to the finance minister. The Minister of Finance said yesterday that the CD has solidified its position as a standout performer among global currencies, achieving a 16.7% appreciation against the US dollar year to date. And this marked a significant reversal from the 13.4% depreciation observed in the same period of 2024, he said. And the third story I want to look at now, flood hits Accra again. Like you said, it's always something we come back to every single year. At least 4 people have died following flooding that occurred after a downpour that hit the Accra metropolis and its environs on Sunday, with 3,000 households affected and dozens of cars swept away. NADMOS put the number of deaths as one person who lost his life when he was, just details of the people who lost their lives. And I will end with my last story. It's a sports story. Police Faith Ladies win historic Women's Premier League FA Cup, and Police Ladies beat Ampem Dakwa Ladies 2-0 to win their first ever Malta Guinness Women's Premier League title at the University of Ghana Stadium. Congratulations to them. Gentlemen, Awal, I want to start with you. These 4 stories for your quick reflection.
Okay, so...
like 3 stories. The last one is just celebrating the women for their win. Yeah.
I'll start with the Akunta mining. I remember on the 21st of April, we saw a press conference by the Lance Minister showing some documentary and purporting to say that this documentary is an area that was destroyed by Akunta mining. Yes. Fortunately, they told us that they had arrested 49 people, 2 pickups, excavators, and so on. And the response from Akunta mining is that send me to court if you think I have done something wrong. That was what Chairman Wontumi said. Akunta mining belongs to Chairman Wontumi. Chairman Wontumi got his license somewhere in 2012, 2013 under the NDC, and later he had some brush with them when they saw that he's a politically exposed person. Now,
well, I hate to do this to you, but we need to listen to what the AMA boss is saying right now. And we're crossing over live. James Aveji is still there, and the AMA boss is speaking now.
You know, when even people hate Jesus Christ, we all believe in Jesus Christ, but it's people hate him. Those are people, some people worship different gods. So everybody cannot love me, but at least it's good when you do good. That in your heart, you know, this is good. So I'm fine. What people will say, I don't care. Because people have to talk. If you are not the news, if you don't make the news, nobody will talk about you. So I'm here to make a mark. I'm not just coming here to sit in the office. I'm here to make sure Accra will work again.
I hear you have an open door policy. Anybody can walk into your office.
100%. Yeah, it's true. You know, we are here to work for the people. And if you have to see a mayor, you have to go through 4 or 5 people. That's not right. Because that's not right at all. Why can't you walk to the mayor's office, tell the mayor the problem? Because when more we block the people from coming to see the mayor. Wow.
Right, and so that's what's happening right there on the grounds for this planned decongestion exercise. I mean, they were warned, and the mayor is saying that he's running an open door policy. But while I took the wind out of your sail there, let's hear you out now.
Yes, so I'm saying that when they held a press conference where we saw the minister crying on a live TV when we said he was shedding crocodile tears, we were right by saying that because, you see, when the people were arrested, they arrested 49 people. 2 pickups, 30 excavators, and so on. The press release by Akunta Mining is that these are not my equipment. I have not ordered anyone to go anywhere. You have arrested people. If you have arrested people and equipment, go and see who registered the excavators because they are not made in Ghana. They were imported. Again, the pickups, the 2 pickups, and the motorbikes, you see the one who registered them. Send them to court and prosecute them. They didn't do that.
Right.
Then they waited until, at a point in time, Chairman Wontumi, his accounts and everything were freezed. So after they froze the accounts, then he had to go to court to sue the government. The problem with this government is that they like the media prosecution. They are always in the media telling the people of this country that some people are guilty of offenses, but they are not being upfront by sending them to court. That is the problem with the Akonta mining. And that's, so I'm happy that the coalition is saying that they are disappointed in government because, you see, the government do not have any case against Akonta mining. A reason they are not, they have not been able to send them to court.
Quick thoughts, quick thoughts on this. If you say there is nothing, Akonta mining is whistle clean. You remember the first instance under the former president?
Yes.
Where Akonta mining was cited for some illegalities. It took a while before Mr. President also came out, former president, to say that as of that time, no wrongs were being committed. Yes, you may say that usually the law wouldn't be retrospective, but wrong is wrong.
Yes.
But when you talk about the fact that these 49 people who were nabbed and all of that, you do know that as part of the Minerals and Mining Act, it's not just about owning a concession or working on the concession or leaving the concession fallow. If you own that concession, and you allow people to invade that concession and purport or perpetrate illegality on that concession, you're responsible for that. You know that.
So in April, you arrested these people in April. As I speak, you've not prosecuted anyone. And that is the problem.
Yes, but my point is, on the basis of that, you also cannot say that there's no evidence, there's nothing against them. Though I know there is that surety in courts, 20 million being demanded by
Akonta mining came out with a press release to say that he has not sent anyone, he has not given anyone the permission to enter any forest. Those you have arrested are human beings. Go and send them to court. They will tell you who sent them there.
I'm sure you've seen the river of people who have been taken to court. I think you're still missing my point. It's not about giving permission to these people. You owe responsibility to the state to defend, protect, in fact, even post-mining activity and all of that, to plant vegetation there.
Yes.
You are responsible for that entity. And I'm not just focusing on Akonta mining. Yes. Any of these entities. And a lot of them are in breach. That's all I'm saying.
Yes.
The fact that you are there and someone comes there on your blind side does not absolve you. That's the whole point.
Akonta mining is saying that in the last 3 years, he has been engaged in reclamation of the land. That is what Akonta mining is saying. And he's saying that if I have done anything wrong, send me to court.
Anyway.
They are yet to send him to court until he has counter-sued the government for not sending him to court. That's why I'm saying that when you check, the Attorney General has done not less than 4 press conferences.
Right.
But he has only taken 2 cases to court. Why? The problem with this government is that they like the media prosecution.
Okay, I think you are repeating what you said now. So
are guilty of some...
Right. Adam, do you have any thoughts on that?
So on this initial comment, okay, unlike the NPP, the NDC is not interested in hurriedly pursuing justice. The point must be made very clear. We are not. And so before we go to court, or before the Attorney General goes to court to prosecute any matter, he must have a certain honest belief, okay, in the guilt of the people he seeks to prosecute. He would not do that out of public pressure, or that because the president made a certain promise to the Ghanaian people, or that because the NPP in opposition is giving us pressure. No. We are going to make sure that before a docket is presented before the courts, there's a certain honest belief, so much so that the Attorney General will not go to court and later be desiring the cooperation of, persons who are before the court to,
Pause right there.
Okay.
So you make that point, and I agree with you, but you must also see the point of Awal when he says, if that is the case, or if that be the case, why not just wait when you have all your facts, you take your docket to court? How about the media and press conferences and all of that? Now there's a 20 million Ghana cedi suit. Of course, I'm not saying that means anything in court. Usually these things come up. But if you had your facts, why wouldn't you just wait and then proceed with your docket to court rather than the media bit?
The point is also clear that need to prosecute, okay, must be balanced with the need to be accountable to the people. Because the promise to the Ghanaian people was that we are coming to prosecute all the riots. Now, the Attorney General is the legal representative of the Ghanaian people. And so the people who he is representing must at all times be kept in the loop of what is happening. They must be brought into the known of what the Attorney General is doing every step of the way. And so that balance must be there. That does not necessarily mean that because the Attorney General is informing the Ghanaian people and being accountable to them and not necessarily presenting a docket means that he's doing media prosecution. That difference and distinction must be made very clear. Now, on the issue of Akonta mining, you see how confident he is, okay, telling us that the Attorney General should go ahead to court and prosecute the people who have been arrested.
Yes.
That is the model, the operandi of these people. They go and employ.
Can you refer to him by his name and his group by its name rather than these people sounds? If you want, Awal is his name.
Yeah. So
the MPP is it the MPP?
So this is the modus operandi of Awal and the NPP.
Okay.
They are asking us to go after the low-hanging fruit, the people that they have employed, the people who are in their employ, because they have created a certain, trend of unemployment in this country, and they go around giving meager resources to people, engage them on their concessions to engage in all manner of criminalities. They know that if these people are prosecuted, it does not affect them in any way. It is why he's so confident, beating his chest and asking us to go after the low-hanging fruit. But you see,
wait. You're making quite an allegation. Are you suggesting that these people who are being arrested are in any way tied to the MPP?
They are. Akonta, the owner of Akonta Mining, okay, is the chairman of the NPP in the Ashanti region.
You're not getting my point. Those who were arrested, the 49 who were recently arrested.
Yes.
Akonta Mining says, we have nothing to do with these people. We don't know them. How do you sit here and what proof do you have that these people are linked to Akonta Mining?
We
and by extension linked to the MPP.
We have all heard the minister on the matter. The people were found, the people and the equipment were found on a concession that is purportedly being owned, or that is owned by Akonta Mining. And so there can be no argument or excuse that these people are not in any way tied to them. And the point must be made very clear that the times when the NPP was in government and Akonta Mining had its way, so much so that even when there is a cause for concern, the president at the time will quickly come ahead of investigative bodies and clear him, are over. Now, we are taking time to make sure that once we present a docket against Akonta Mining and all persons that are involved in illegal mining in this country, dissipating our natural resources for personal gains, are going to be prosecuted and brought to book.
So let's put a. We're not going back to this. We can't do a.
Because we did 11 prosecutions without necessarily doing any press conference, and we had convictions of 11 former appointees of Mahama without doing any press conference. So you don't need press conference to tell people that something is happening.
All right, Sweetie, are you done with your papers?
No, there are 3 stories we're discussing. And Raymond, you said that you want to wait till you have all your facts before you go to court. Do you remember that famous thing former President Akufo-Addo said about until you're in trouble, you won't appreciate due process, when we were on his neck to prosecute some people in his government? The response of the NDC was not what you're saying to us right now. You get what I'm saying?
Come again.
I'm saying that the former president, at some point when we're talking about corruption and looting and all that, and asking that he prosecute or jail some people, he said that until you are until you're in trouble, you will not appreciate due process. So the delay in prosecuting those people that we thought he ought to have prosecuted was because he was taking his time to find the facts and go to court at the right time. That's exactly what you're saying to us right now.
So you see, there's a big difference.
What's the difference?
What happened under the NPP was not necessarily about taking time to build, a solid case while you are presenting before the court. But the fact of the matter is that under the NPP, President Akufo-Addo was actually clearing these persons who were involved in acts of corruption. In fact, President Akufo-Addo made corruption a lucrative business. He rewarded corruption. You recall the issue of Pius Edam Hajide.
This isn't about corruption. Hold on, Raymond.
For example, hold on.
I listen to you. So we have to do this. We have to have a conversation. I listen to you. Yes. I'm not saying this is about what former president did in his government.
Yes.
I'm saying that Ghanaian people voted for the NDC or voted out the NPP because they trusted that you campaign on the back of transparency, accountability, and all that.
Yes.
And now these are people who, even from the story, we know that the Ministry of Lands and Natural Resources themselves showed a documentary detailing everything.
Yes.
And we run a democracy, rule of law prevails. If you have the facts and if you have evidence which you can put into a documentary, why don't you go to court and let the rule of law take over? And if these people are found culpable, then we prosecute them. And then we can feel like, yes, we are actually starting to see some justice on the back of the degradation we're seeing on our land and water resources. So don't go back to corruption and what they did. I'm just referring you to the similarity in what you're saying, the rhetoric of we are waiting for the docket, we are waiting for this, and comparing it to what we were hearing in the erstwhile administration.
Yes. Again, the point must be made that you see, we are not just going to be going after low-hanging fruits. The people, okay, who recruit these persons and put them in the pits must be, first of all, brought to book. And so we must take our time and ensure that proper cases are built against these persons, rather than just out of a certain public pressure.
So that's your point.
Exactly. That's the point I'm making.
Well, let's go back to the two other stories, and then we can manage the time. Yes. There was a story about the CD depreciation. Don't go back to that. We have to make progress.
Yes, on the CD depreciation, the CD appreciation now. Yes. On the CD appreciation, I think that it's good news for us as a country, especially looking at prices of things are determined by the forex. So definitely, if we see this appreciation, we are happy as Ghanaians. But we're only asking how sustainable this is, because you see, the businessman is not looking at it coming down to even 4 or 3. The businessman is looking at stability. If it is stable, you can predict the prices of goods tomorrow. That is very important. So, but you see, what we're seeing now, if care is not taken, you will see the going down and moving up again, because if you look at the factors that is driving what is happening today, there are 4 factors. One is that the debt exchange program we did. Now we have to push some of the maturing debts that we're supposed to pay in 2025 and 2026 to 2027. So the government is not paying any maturing debt this year. So that is one factor. The other factor has to do with the fact that we have a buffer. The gold, even the Bank of Ghana governor said that indeed the gold is helping. The buffer of 30.5 billion, 30.5 tons that we left has given the NDC the space.
Are you taking credit for the appreciation of the CD? Just so we can get the point out.
I am not. But I'm saying that, I'm telling you the factors that is driving it, because the Bank of Ghana is saying that the gold is part of the reasons it is where it is today. And you know that there was a launch of the gold for reserve in 2023. Which between independence and 2023, we had only 8 tons at the Bank of Ghana. So we had to buy about 20-something tons to make it 30.5. This government came and continued and made it 31 tons. Then the gold that came in from January, they sold everything and had $2.7 billion and injected it into the market. So definitely, if you inject the dollar into the market, there will be a price, because the demand will be there and there will be supply. So definitely that is another. And the global trade war. These are the reasons that is driving it. So what we want to see is some kind of measures by this government to be able to contain it, so that going forward, even if there are exogenous shocks, we'll be able to contain it.
That point is made. Let me bring in, on the back of that recent declaration by some of the drivers' unions that, in fact, on the 25th of May, they're going to reduce prices by about 15%. We have Samuel Amua of the GPRTU joining the conversation. Mr. Amua, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
Thank you so much for having joined this conversation. Walk us through the decision to actually reduce prices, transport fares by 15%. What did it take?
All right, thank you very much. Let me say good morning to you and your viewers. Yes, we have agreed to reduce the transport fares by 15%. However, I heard you, quoting 25th, but it's 24th. 24th is Saturday. So it's taking effect on 24th.
So it does say Saturday. My apologies.
Yes, Saturday. Yes, sure.
Right.
So a meeting was held yesterday at the Transport Ministries, and we all know that, considering the fuel reduction that we are seeing of late. Although normally when we want to, talk about transport fare issues or review, we normally consider the lubricants, the spare parts, the taxes, and the petroleum product. So yesterday, after a meeting with the transport, minister and his men, we got to understand that where the fuel prices now, there is the need to reduce, the transport fares. Actually, we made them understood that we have not seen a reduction on the other component, that is the spare parts and the lubricants. But then the assurance given to us was that most of the time when fares are increased, it do affect all the other components. And so therefore, if we have to reduce it a little bit, that one too will also affect, the other component for them to also reduce it. We also spoke about where the fuel price now. We remember when we had our increment, the fuel price was around 12.69 pesos. But as I'm speaking now, it has not gotten there. But the assurance given to us by the transport ministries was that hopefully the next window is likely that the fuel price will also come down to that 12 cedis, around 12 cedis. So we had an agreement that, okay, based on that, we will agree and reduce our transport fares by 15%. That will take effect from coming Saturday, 24th of this month.
Do you think this decrement will be sustained on the back of inflation, on the back of the cost of spare parts, fuel prices, among other basics that you look at? Do you think this is sustainable?
Yes, we think so because, as I said earlier, transport fares do drive, all the other components and, market women and all that, the inflation and all that. So we are thinking that we now agree to reduce it must also affect all those components for them to also, consider to reduce their product. We've seen some, we've seen that the dollar is now coming down, the cedi is appreciating. Because of that, those that goes, to the outside to go and bring these goods also have to know that things are coming down and there is the need for them to also, reduce their products. So definitely, as we have agreed to reduce ours, I believe it will also affect the others to also, come down a little bit.
Just a quick point. Sometimes the problem is with the calculation, right?
Yeah.
So you say 15%. That is an odd number. And sometimes assume someone is paying 70 pesos, for example. If you take 15% of that, you are looking at about, 1 cedi and 50 pesos or 1 cedi 5 pesos, thereabouts. Sometimes it becomes difficult and people still end up paying more than the decrements that you've given. How are you going to regulate that?
You see, sometimes when you do the calculation, even when that is when we increase, when there is a time for us to increase the fares, there are places that the passenger will gain, all right, and there are places that also the driver will also gain based on the small coins, that normally comes on top and all that. So supposing the 15% reduction, like come to maybe a driver that may be charged like 50 pesos. It means that the driver has to reduce it by, I think, 97 pesos thereabout. And, because we can't get this more, peso, we have to, run it up to maybe 1 cedi. And where it also has to go more than that, then it means that we need to balance. So this is how we are going to calculate it. Even that is why, we said that we want to, start this reduction on Saturday so that we can have time to do all the calculations and give it to, our various, stations to operate with.
Well, you mentioned that you're hoping that your reduction will encourage other drivers and transport operators to reduce that. Does that mean that this is not in alignment with these other drivers' unions, like the Concerned Drivers Association, for example?
No, I didn't say that it will affect the other drivers.
Encourage. You said you're hoping it will encourage. You didn't say affect. You said encourage.
Yeah. Oh, then maybe well, I don't know. But what I was trying to say is that the other component, as we, the transport operators, have now agreed to reduce hours, it will also encourage the other components.
Yes.
I'm talking about the market, those at the market, like Buta came out, that, their customers or their workers should
I understand
also,
that. I
reduce their
understand
products.
that. What I'm saying is, this is a statement coming from GPRTU, but we have other drivers as well, like the Concerned Drivers Association. There are some that are not under GPRTU. I'm asking if this planned decrement in transport fares is in alignment with these other associations as well.
Yesterday, the meeting we had, we had a GPRTU, we had the leadership of GRTCC, we have the Concerned Drivers on board, we also had the Ghana Committed Drivers on board, we had the True Drivers on board, we have IGRTU on board. So it's all the transport operators that had that meeting yesterday at the Transport Ministry.
All right,
so it's not only GPRTU.
All right, thank you for that clarification. So everyone should just expect that transport fares will be starting to see, we start to see some decrements from the 26th.
Perfectly.
Thank you so much.
Samuel Amwa is PRO of the GPRTU. We're grateful for your time. So come Saturday, 15% down. Let's blaze through the rest of the stories. Our time is somewhat limited.
Let's get on the CD.
Yes,
let's get that and then quickly reflect on the 4 people who's lost their lives because of the flooding. And then we can
briefer thoughts, gentlemen.
Yes. So you see, Awa should respect our viewers when he tells us that the reason for the appreciation of the CD is a doing of the fact that we are not servicing our debt. Who introduced the debt servicing? Since 2023, listen, please. Since 2023, you have not been servicing your external debt, okay? And yet the CD continued to depreciate. Within this period last year, the CD had depreciated by 13.4%. Within this period, this same period, okay, the CD has appreciated by 16.7%. And so how do you make a claim that it is the doing of government not servicing its external debt? That is a clear lie.
So you
again. Are we paying the maturing debts today?
We are not.
We are not, because when we did the debt exchange.
Listen to you.
Nobody listen.
Raymond, we are listening.
Allow. I am not saying that we are not servicing our debts. We are not. But I am saying that it is not
it's one of the factors.
The appreciation of the CD cannot be a function of the fact that government is not servicing its external debt. That point must be made clear. He goes on to say global externalities or whatever the case is. It is not. Today, according to Bloomberg, the CD is the best performing in the world. The CD is appreciating against every...
Some economists here also say that this appreciation...
So allow me. You say I should be brief. I want to be brief. You want me to be brief? Allow me to be.
When you say something, it must also be. Some economists like Professor Suming also say, while this may not be artificial, we must control it. If you watch China's economy, it's not all about letting their currency appreciate. In fact, sometimes they strategically, intentionally, let their currency depreciate. So there's some wisdom in there as well.
No problem at all. But the point is that the real reason...
wrapping up on this.
I'm wrapping up. The real reason, okay, why the CD is appreciating so much against various major currencies of the world is the fact that there is a certain confidence in government fiscal and economic policy.
All right, thank you.
That point must be made.
So take
and
the
activities
first bite
of Gold Board as well is showing up the confidence of the...
Because we have a buffer.
Economy.
Take a first bite about the four dead, 3,000 houses affected because of the floods, and then we can move on.
Well, that is very unfortunate. Every year, we come back to the table and we speak about these things. True. It has become a perennial challenge. How do we mitigate this challenge so that it does not become recurrent? I mean, I am tired of having this conversation over and over again. I've listened to the President of the Republic. He has said that he has constituted an anti-flooding task force to look into the real reasons why we continue to face these challenges year on year recurrently. And so I want to have that confidence and assurance that once that is done, we are able to see the real reasons and we deal with this menace decisively.
Thank you, Adam.
So last year,
you have another reaction?
Yes, no, this one. Last year, we were in this country when this thing happened. The president said,
what thing happened?
You will use the flooding. Okay. He said you use engineering solution to this. When they were voted for in March there was a task force to look through this so that they will be able to bring a lasting solution to this. The task force started their work by moving around the areas as far back 12th of March. What have they been able to do in the last... you
could also be asked, you've had the Garrett project, you've had DRIP and all of that for how long now?
So that's what I'm saying.
What did it achieve?
You said it's one of the reasons
in how many years?
Out. I'm saying that it's one of the reasons we voted out.
In how many years did you have that? And you talk about 2-3 months, and you are calling for accountability, rightly so.
No.
But if you're calling for accountability within this short period, then I'll refer you to Garrett and DRIP and ask you, how did that also impact our flooding?
We did a lot of decongestion and we did a lot of desilting and so on. But what I'm saying is that you said you have a different approach to solve it once and for all. You had people, you had the ministers, you have your deputy chief of staff.
But that's also exactly the point.
You did all these things.
An engineering solution is not now being profit. You profit it as well.
Yeah, but what
profit and engineering solution. That's why you came through.
They are in power now. Yeah. And for the last 2 months, what are the activities of these people?
Okay,
that's very important.
That is a justifiable. I don't want us. I don't want us to
be able to deal with the
gentlemen. Hello,
but in 5 months, you want us to preposterous that proposition. I mean, what is the logic in that?
So get this straight.
Yes.
We regulate here.
Yes. Okay.
It's not just a free-for-all talk match.
That's fine.
Please, let's do this so that we can all get a bite. Thank you, gentlemen. Let's get into your papers. I'll start with you, Awa.
Okay. So, Bawumia in tears in London. That's the Republic newspaper. Namwan loses big in court. Appeal to stop trial flops. A victim yearn for justice. Adenta farmers in agony as land grabbers move in. 99% of emergency calls hoax as prankers flood hotlines. Accra underwater. Casualties mount amid building regulations failures. So this is what I have in the Republic newspaper.
Any, maybe one or two you'd like to quickly highlight? So.
Yes, so Dr. Bawumia, yes, that's true. Bawumia was in Brussels. From Brussels, he moved to Cambridge. Then from Cambridge, he went and met our people. That is the MPP. You know, we're doing the thank you tour. So definitely he took advantage of that program that he had.
So the ban has been lifted now?
Yes.
On the thank you tour.
So he did that so that he could visit our people in London. So
no, I mean locally. Has the ban been lifted?
No, he will have to come back before we can start again because he is the one leading it. So in London, he took advantage of that and think that, well, let's meet them and talk to them. There, he made a lot of appeal to them to support us again. And he even said that, well, he will want to apologize on behalf of the party and on behalf of the leadership of the party for our failure to win the elections. But we promise to do something different to be able to really win the elections in 2028, inshallah. There are a lot of stories that are...
I think your point has been made. I just have a quick question. There are those even within the MPP fraternity who are asking, why is Dr. Bawumia leading this? The question being that he is not the leader of the party. Some people feel, of course, if there are going to be other contenders, which likely there will be, he's putting himself up, giving himself an advantage. Where are the General Secretary and the Chairman of the party? I know the Chairman has had some health issues, but these are concerns people have had.
General Secretary and National Organizer were with him throughout this.
Yeah, it's about who is leading. It's not about...
So who is leading from 1992 up to today? Almost all the elections that we had participated, you had the leader who led, who was voted for, leading. And it's not exceptional. In 2008, same thing happened in 2009 when President Akufo-Addo led it. In 2012, President Akufo-Addo led it. In 2016, he led it. So what is different?
All right, point made. Any reactions?
Yes. So
it must be very brief.
Yes. They say Bawumia has apologized to the Ghanaian people, and I say water is still wet. It's that simple. Water is still wet, but it does not erase Bawumia's incompetence. For 8 years, when we're calling for his apology for the depreciation of the cedi, for the worsening economic situation, and all of those, the imposition of nuisance and rigorous taxes on the Ghanaian people for worsening our economic...
in simple terms,
he did not apologize to us, and so water is still wet.
Let's get into your paper, Economy Times. Adam, Economy Times, if you want time to look at your story.
Okay.
Just quickly, you have 1 minute.
Yes, so we have economists propose forest rate controls and other measures to sustain cedis gains. Price reduction. Consumers clash with traders over 60-day grace period. Cosmos Energy pledges $2 billion investment into Ghana's flagging upstream oil industry. So I would like to touch on the economists' proposed forest rate controls and other measures to sustain cedis gain and price reduction. Consumers clash with traders over 60-day grace period. So the truth of the matter is that when there's a certain depreciation of the cedi against the dollar, immediately you find that there is an instant rippling reflection in the price of commodities on the market. And so my expectation would be that when there is a certain strength that the cedi gains against the dollar especially, we must also see that reflection on the market. But in this case, traders are hesitating to, bring those reflection of the reduction of prices. The concern is that they imported their goods at the initial prevailing rate, and so there cannot be an instant reflection on the price. But the argument can also be made. The argument can also be made that even when you reduce by a certain margin, you can still maintain and make profit. Okay. And so let's all come together and ensure that we are doing.
I shall wrap with. There's not enough time. I'll come to you. I'll come to you.
Okay.
The Daily Graphic newspaper: recruit more education support personnel. TEU tells government. Lead in fight against corruption. ICAG, that's the Institute of Chartered Accountants Ghana. Tells members, it says they should be at the forefront of it. Collection of property tax to be decentralized, that's according to the sector minister. Enact policies for processed foods to combat NCDs, experts demand of government. On the back page, SNIT pursues digital agenda for informal sector, and Anglican Women's Fellowship donates to Accra Psychiatric Hospital. That's a heartfelt, very heartwarming gesture. Now, just quickly, the country needs robust policies to safeguard the food environment from excessive intrusion of unhealthy processed foods. A former nutritionist of the Food and Agriculture Organization has said. Professor Analate, now an adjunct professor of nutrition at the University of Ghana, said the processed foods had very high sugar, salt, and fats. And it's interesting because we're just talking about recently that bit about front of pack nutritional labeling, so that you see, once you pick a pack, what's the salt content? High, medium, low, sugar, processing, so that you can make interesting analyses from there and determine whether or not you are consuming that. Let me just also offer my congratulations to Dr. Adam Bona, who has been named chair of a key UN arms control agency. The National Commission on Small Arms and Light Weapons has announced that acting executive secretary, Dr. Adam Al-Hassan Adamu Bona, has been appointed chair of the Diversion Information Exchange under the Arms Trade Treaty. So congratulations to you, sir. Awal, you wanted to make a quick...
Yes, what I wanted to say is that, you see, whilst you tell traders to reduce their wares, first thing government will be able to do is for you to reduce the fuel prices downwards. We left it at 14.99 per litre. Today it's around 13.5. So you've still not reduced it. But when we were doing it, it was around 14.7 when they even
this point you're making, this amount I shudder to. Is it a reduction or not?
I say that the reduction is not enough. They must reduce it drastically. That is.
But there is reduction.
Is it a reduction?
Yes, there is a reduction.
You're mentioning 14.99.
Yeah, I said that.
13.5. That's a difference of about 1.49. You don't think that's a reduction?
No, it is not, because looking at the forex at that time, it was 14.7. That
all right.
we used to.
This is all time will allow us. Unfortunately.
And again, just the last one.
I'd like to say a very big thank you.
Benjamin. Just the last point.
Thank you very much.
Has
decreased. But you gave me
72.
Okay, we've been given a little. Hold on. We've been given a little amnesty of time. Wrap in 1 minute.
So what I'm saying is that, and then the second thing is that, in January, when in February, March, when the government proposed that they will do 14.7% of electricity, one thing that the PURC told us is that is the forex and inflation that is driving it. A reason they are doing 14.7 on electricity. I am happy that MP for Menchia South has sent a petition to PURC that because the reasons you said you wanted to increase it to 14.7 first quarter, has been defeated because today the forex has come down. So suspend that in the wake of doomsday that we are having in this country. So if government wants
how about last year?
Last year we did 6. The entire year we did 6.4.
When you talk aloud.
Yes.
Last year, at the tail end of the year, there were supposed to be some increments that were not brought to bear. You remember that?
Yes.
Which also accounted for these increments that we are facing in the first quarter.
So in the first quarter of last year, we did a reduction. I'm talking about, you said last year, and I'm telling you what we did last year. First quarter of last year, we did 6% reduction in electricity in this country. So we later increased it. So cumulatively for the year, we did 6.4. That was what we did. And again, this year, when they were doing 14.7, they never told us some arrears of last year. They said it is the forex.
Mention was made. We had guests come into the studio, and it's also on the back of last year.
Corporate Affairs on Joy News, the Deputy Corporate Affairs for PURC. He said it is at the back of inflation and the forex. These were the major drivers. So today, inflation is coming down. The forex has come to like 12.3.
Who now sits
Nana Ajantwa is now a propagandist at the office of the president. So I speak to facts about the person who you interviewed here.
Back on the board.
No, I'm saying that the person you interviewed
and
here.
you're telling her she's a propagandist.
The person you interviewed here was the Deputy Corporate Affairs Director that I listened to him here. And he said that these are the reasons they are doing it.
Thank you. Adam.
Yes, so the point is clear, that there is a significant reduction in fuel prices. When the NDC took over the reins of affairs in this country, a gallon of fuel was selling for 72 cedis. Today, the same gallon is selling for about 55 cedis. That is a significant reduction. Wow. And so don't come and sit here and mislead us. We know what the facts are.
Has come down.
We know what the facts are. And then the argument he makes about tariffs on electricity and all of those things, he is aware that as part of the negotiated IMF deal, there is a certain entrenched quarterly adjustment. And so when the adjustments are made quarterly, when the inflation and what have you are factored into it quarterly, it takes another quarter before there is a certain review. And so you can't say because the city has gained strength and the exchange rate has come down, that reflection must be immediate. Well, you should know that. You should no. You can't suspend it.
In May,
it is a conditionality.
We are told that there's some latest updates coming in right now from Accra, where that ongoing decongestion exercise is happening. I want to take you back there. James Savaji, man on the grounds, boots on grounds for us today, is joining us via phone. James, what's the latest updates from where you are right now?
Well, sweetie, the exercise is still continuing here. We are currently at Cantamanto area. We've moved all the way from the Mokola area towards the timber market, and we are now at the Cantamanto area. Looks like the level of compliance we saw earlier around the Rollins Park, Mokola areas, that's not what we're seeing here at Cantamanto, because quite a number of the traders have got their wares on the street. But the approach from the Accra mayor has been the same, approaching this with a human face, and in some instances, even helping the traders to move the things from roads. It's been a generous approach so far. No one has been arrested. No confrontation has happened between the authorities and the traders, apart from an isolated incident at Mokola, where a number of the market women were booing at the when we started the exercise. But so far, it's been generally peaceful. We've been trying so hard to get the mayor to speak to, especially to know how they intend to sustain this exercise.
Right.
Because the general impression we get from the traders is that they will comply, but if the task force leaves the road, they would have to come back to continue their trade, because this is the source of their livelihood. At a point, we also saw some tipper trucks dumped gravels as well as sand on the road. The mayor instructed that the assembly immediately get a tipper truck to collect the sand and the gravels and send them to the assemblies. And whoever is behind it will be found out and surcharged accordingly. And so that is what has been happening.
Right.
At another place, he's been. I'm trying to get him now to speak to him on what they intend to do to sustain this. Okay.
Well, James.
Thanks for. Suchi, I can hear you.
No, if you have him, let's hear him out.
Okay. I have the PRO here. Let me first try to engage him. The mayor seems very, very busy. Gilbert, thanks for your time. How will you describe the exercise so far? Very successful. Training activities on the street and the shoulders of the road are spent. We are poised to ensure that this particular exercise becomes a success.
Okay.
Let me try and speak to him. Honorable, just want to get a quick word from you. Looks like the level of compliance we saw at the Mokola area is not what we are seeing here.
Hold on.
Just wanted to get your general impression so far about what we are saying, Honorable. Sweetie, he looks
and
very, very busy right now, trying to get the traders to get off the street. But as you can see there, you see the task force trying pretty hard to push the west off the shoulder of the road, getting a bit intense in this area because the traders here do not seem to be complying with the directive that has been given. Some of them are actually giving him chairs for the work he's doing.
James, we're grateful for your time. We'll come back to you later for more on that. All right, James, we're still listening to you.
To get him to speak to us on what is make of the activity so far as we speak. Honorable, trying to get your attention, what do you make of the exercise so far?
My brother, talk to the PRO right now. I'm very busy.
Well, the mayor doesn't seem to give us a word, but we'll be following and keep you updated. I'm asking that why do we seem to be having a bit of pressure here compared to what we saw earlier?
Of course, not all the areas are the same, so we are treating specific areas with some specific, let me say, action. There are some of the areas you can see some level of compliance. In as much as for this particular area, you see that the streets have been cleared. There are some of the areas. Currently, as we speak, the mayor is ensuring that the median, this particular area, is a no-go area. He's instructing that they move the entire trading activities from the medians of the road. And that is what this particular area, gone are the days when you come here, you see them on the streets. But today, in as much as we are seeing some level of compliance, a couple of them are on the shoulders of the road, and Mayor has instructed that they move so that at least pedestrians also coming in will be able to embark on their trading activities.
The big question is, how do you intend to sustain this?
Of course, with issues of sustainability, Mayor has been very clear on it, that as part of his 24-hour operational model that he's bringing in, issues of sanitation will be taken care of. He's going to ensure that there is maximum security. We are going to recruit security to ensure. And just as you can see, our men are on the ground ensuring that we deal with the issue. Now, very, very important, the issues of blocking some specific areas for trading activities. Mayor has said that categorically, and we are hoping the traders are very, very happy about that, and we are hoping that immediately when we do the clearing, we'll have some specific areas, just as the mayor has mentioned, blocked for specific trading activities within the week.
Are you going to dedicate the guards on the roads and in the market, and how long are they going to stay?
Of course, they are going to be here 24 hours, and the mayor has said that. So this is day one. We're looking at the situation, compared still urging them to move. Day two, we'll get our men stationed and ensure that at least we police the streets. And aside that, mayor has been very categorical. This is not the usual abaye that we normally do. In as much as we are not using force, it's trying to also appeal to the traders to understand the need to especially move away from the streets. And that is, we are seeing some level of compliance. You can see traffic flowing, and that is the main aim. With respect to sustenance, just as you can see or hear, they are cheering the mayor up, especially for the new policies that he is trying to bring on board to promote trading activities in the city.
He's talking about donations to the prisons.
Yes, and it was very, very clear. When your staff are being confiscated, either they will be sent to the prisons or they will be sent to charity. And that is what he has been saying all this while. Sure.
Thank you, Mr. Accra.
Sure, thank you.
I'm coming, let me check.
But it's time now for us to wrap up the news review segment on the AM show. Thanks to Awal Mohammed from the NPP Communications Directorate. And we also had Raymond Edem Tamaklu from the NDC Communications team. Thank you so much, gentlemen. But before we go, remember that the AM show is sponsored by Waylead Properties. And if you're thinking of a rewarding investment you can engage in, here's a tip. Waylead Company Limited is your preferred choice for such investment. Waylead Company Limited is a real estate company with several developments to its credit in Accra. And the newest development, Willow Lane, is where you really want to put your money because elegance will always meet tranquility there in the heart of Accra. And we provide quality housing at affordable costs with flexible payment options. At Waylead Properties, we also give you 24-hour security, reliable power supply, and other social amenities to make your stay a memorable one. These are the numbers to call: 0240 111 119 or 050 449 999. You can also visit our website www.waylead.org for more information. We'll take a break. When we return, more action on our big story segment on the AM show.